So let's talk about Kaneki becoming a full ghoul, because I know a lot of people have wanted me to talk about this. So with everything that's happened as of recently, Dragon, Kaneki, the nuclear situation, Kaneki being ripped out, finding out that he's got these weird organs that no person on this planet has ever seen before, the story has shifted in a very unusual direction for Kaneki as a character. You know what the greatest thing about Tokyo Ghoul is? We never know what the fuck's going on. It's great. It's all good. It's great. It really is. Because I sit here and I read it and I'm like, oh, okay, I know where this series is going. I feel like I know what's going to happen next. And then, boom, it should have just hit you with the, nah, you don't know shit. You think you know what I'm going to do next? You don't. Give up. Stop trying. Your theories are trash, Dress.
Sucks, don't it? Moment you realize you don't know shit.
If Ishida ever watched one of my videos, I feel like that would be the response. Kaneki being a full ghoul, however, is kind of on the plate at the moment, and a lot of you guys have really wanted me to talk about this. For the most part, I'm gonna put my own twist on it, because a full ghoul, it's pretty cool, it's not too bad. But I can one-up it. I can do something a little bit cooler, you know what I mean? Something a little bit tedious and maybe a little bit more tasteful for Ishida's sense, if he were to go down this route, obviously. So, firstly, let's talk about the scenario. What makes Kaneki a full ghoul? Well, if anything, there's not much here. I'll tell you that much. There's not much evidence implying that he's a full ghoul whatsoever. The only thing that we can realistically go off is the fact that he's got organs that necessarily don't exist. No one knows about them. What the fuck are these organs? Surely you could kind of see something, Kimi or, whoever else done the autopsy for Kaneki's body. You'd probably be able to make out, a lump of something, like, oh, that kind of looks like a lung. That looks like a heart, you think you'd be able to make out a body part, but obviously not. Obviously, they're just seeing all these random ass puzzle pieces and they don't know where they go. And I feel like this is the only thing that is implying that Kaneki is different to any degree, because we've never heard about it before. We've never seen anything like this before. Hell, we haven't even seen anything like Dragon before, right? But Kaneki at this point, no, I'm not a full ghoul. I'm a fucking different race of ghouls. Like, is that possible? Has anyone ever thought about that? You know how, like, obviously different ethnicity of people, of the human race, different cultures and shit. I understand that the human body doesn't vary like that. Chinese people don't have a fucking extra limb or appendage, but could it be possible that ghouls having like different ethnicity have different specific needs for like maybe climate and shit like that? Like, oh, it's pretty fucking cold in here. Let's just accelerate your RC cells. Make you warm up a little bit, you know what I mean? That's a little bit far-fetched. I don't really know where that came from, obviously. I'm just trying to lengthen out this video so I can get more money for my YouTube career. That's sarcasm, if you haven't already guessed. Just forget it. Where we go with Kaneki's character from here, and how Ishida evidently, I guess, explains these new organs and what they actually do, it could propel Kaneki in a very interesting direction, the full ghoul direction. And this is where the general idea comes in. Has Kaneki been stripped away from his human DNA? Mind you, there was a small, very small portion of human DNA that resided in Kaneki. This was the aging process, basically. He had the aging process of a human. So every time he got his legs cut off or his hands cut off or he got extremely injured, his body would try and heal it, but because of that human DNA, it wouldn't allow it. It's accelerating too quickly. Oh, you're not meant to heal that quickly. What are you doing? And that was kind of causing him to age at a rapid pace because the amount he was getting injured and his RC cells working too much in a quote unquote human body or a portion of the human body, because the aging process can be directly connected to the healing process and how he gets injured and everything along those lines. If somehow this was wiped completely clean because of Dragon and because supposedly Dragon was taking this out, absorbing something from Kaneki and replacing its own organs, creating its own organs inside of Kaneki, then it may be possible that the human DNA has also dissipated, has also completely vanished from his body, and these new organs have kind of replaced everything that Kaneki needs to function. Now, I want to mention this. Could it have been possible that Kaneki could have turned into a sentient Kagane being if he stayed in there long enough? Because I came up with the idea that maybe these sentient Kagane beings are actually using like a body and modifying the body to their needs, right? So you see in the massive abundance of bodies that Dragon created, and some kind of look like Kaneki. Those white husk things you've seen in the eyeballs, right? That's like the biggest pool of RC cells DNA you could imagine. Hence why they had to bust Kaneki kind of out of one. Could those be the sentient Kagane being? Because I don't think anyone's really ever talked about that. Like, we know little to nothing about sentient Kagane beings or what they even are to begin with. Could they just be a new variation of ghouls that are completely husked and clouded over a normal body or a cloned body or a artificially created body from Dragon. I thought I'd just put that out there. And the reason why I put it out there, not on any empty basis whatsoever, no, not of course not. I wouldn't create any baseless theories. This scenario fits with Kaneki as well, because this would imply that yes, it is possible for Kaneki to be completely ripped off from what he truly was, get drained from everything that he was as a ghoul and ultimately turned potentially into a sentient Kagane being. Even though he was a host, he was completely different to them. He might have been like, a big fuck off sentient Kagane being, the big final villain, some Dark Souls boss or some shit, you know what I mean? So maybe that's how the human DNA is gone, and it's been replaced with these other organs or whatever from Dragon to maybe operate on its own, while potentially giving these lifeless bodies or clones or whatever a conscience, a thought process. Obviously, we've seen the sentient Kaganes, they're pretty smart actually. They're not overly dumb, they know when something is going on. They knew that Kaneki was getting ripped out and tried to retaliate. They returned back to that location. They completely left the CCG so they can understand the caliber of fear and danger and what's more dangerous than something else. That's a very big step. I understand this doesn't add on to the whole Kaneki situation. It kind of just gives you a better insight for where I'm coming with this regarding the theory and the idea. Fuck it, let's just go straight to the point. What if Kaneki is a full-blooded Washu ghoul? Right, not just any normal full ghoul. No. We are looking at a full-blooded Washu ghoul. There's many reasons why I think if Ishida were to go down this direction on how he could be a full-blooded ghoul. First and foremost, Dragon is literally the epitome of Rize's RC cells through and through. Kaneki is the epitome of Rize's RC cells. He has Rize's Kakaho inside of him. He has these pure Washu RC cells inside of him. Right, I'm right. I'm always right. Come on, stay with me. We've got work to do. Now in this case, because Kaneki's been ripped out early, he has not succumbed to death or turned into a sentient Kagane being or something else entirely, who knows. He could potentially be the walking, evolution of Rize's pure Washu blood cells. He could potentially be a pure Washu ghoul. And what does this mean exactly? Well, this makes him extremely fucking dangerous. Extremely dangerous. From what we know from Dr. Kanao about the pure Washu ghouls and how powerful they can be, Kaneki is kind of tiptoeing on that line of being extremely powerful, if this were the case, if he was a full-blown ghoul and a pure Washu one, if that. I think the idea sounds really interesting for the story, because this adds a lot of different things towards Kaneki that Ishida can easily mold and construct and build upon in Tokyo Ghoul Part 3. It doesn't necessarily take anything away from his character, considering the revelation of him being a human and wanting to be a human has kind of disappeared over time with the choices he has made. And obviously he's just recently come to the conclusion and accepted, right? Get this, he's accepted the idea that he is a ghoul. He's accepted that. He's come to terms with, if he wants to get further with his goal, if he wants to continue living on this earth, he will have to kill people. He will have to be a ghoul. He doesn't have to be some merciless killer like Rize or a binge eater. No, he just needed to come to terms with what he truly was. He was no longer human. He is through and through a ghoul. And he came to terms with this mentally. So maybe now Ishida wants to back that up with him being physically a full ghoul. And there's nothing necessarily connecting him with the human world anymore. He still may have human morals, per se. Obviously wanting to help the human race, help the ghouls, and even that has kind of evolved over time with the people he's grown close with. He's grown close with ghouls, and he considers them his family. This could evidently evolve into a struggle for power. I don't know if Furuta would realize that Kaneki could potentially be a full-blooded Washu ghoul, or if that was the whole concept to begin with, potentially trying to create more full-blooded Washu ghouls, because this leads the opportunities for the Washu family almost endless. At this point, if Kaneki was a Washu ghoul, he would be a threat through and through, not just because he has been the staple of building Dragon and killing innocent human beings, no, because he is eligible to be able to do that, because if he was a full ghoul, he would be able to also turn into Dragon again. And if Furuta were to reveal this information, if Furuta were to try and direct the CCG back onto Kaneki in some way, shape or form, and saying that he is a dangerous person, he is a full Washu ghoul, he is capable of turning into Dragon again, he doesn't need to eat a nucleus anymore, he doesn't have to ingest a bunch of Rize RC cells because he is one. All he'd have to do is potentially raise his own RC cells, theoretically. Could go out of control and turn into Dragon again, and maybe this could be like a bargaining point for Furuta. A whole concept and idea to wage war war against Kaneki, to put the world against Kaneki once again. I don't think Ishida would ever double back on the whole dragon idea and trying to create another dragon, but I thought just to kind of clarify what could happen, it would make a lot of sense. Kind of helps you guys understand with what I'm thinking in terms of Kaneki being a full Washu ghoul and why Furuta would want to do it. That's if he knows about it, and potentially why Ishida would do it. Regardless, if he is a full ghoul, I would believe for him to be a full Washu ghoul, which makes him extremely powerful, and most likely a completely different full Kagura, something we've never seen before, and obviously the benefits of potentially whatever these organs are inside of him. We don't know if they're good or bad, but they could make him extremely powerful. They could make him eligible to live for a very long time, or they could actually be his nightmare, his resting place. Whatever is inside of him now could potentially lead him down to the road of death. And it was always coming, mind you. I've always had it in the back of my mind that Kaneki would most likely die at the end of the series. I don't know how, but I've always seen it, and I've always had it in my head. For me personally, I feel like that type of ending, however we get there, would be so fitting for the story. A lot of people don't believe this, and that's perfectly fine, but because this is my opinion, there is no way for you to nullify the effects of Kaneki's death at the end of the story, in your opinion, and debating against me. That's just how it goes, and I'm gonna continue thinking that way, because I don't necessarily want to see, you know, a futuristic Kaneki. I don't want to see him, as grim as it sounds, growing old with Toka and his child coming of age and everything along the sorts. Like, I don't necessarily want that. But that's just me. That's just my idea. That's just how I've been thinking about Tokyo Ghoul, and Ishida could easily prove me wrong, 100%. So that's basically it. Let me know if you think Kaneki could potentially be a full ghoul, in that maybe even a pure Washu full-blooded ghoul per se, which makes him extremely different, extremely more powerful, and potentially another bargaining chip or another concept or scenario that Furuta can play on in Tokyo Ghoul Part 3 potentially. The reunion between Rize and Kaneki once again, like the big final clash, I think would be absolutely incredible, because Rize obviously being a pure Washu ghoul, Kaneki potentially being one as well. Could you imagine the clash between the two? That'd be fucking crazy. That'd be phenomenal. And I don't know if they would absorb each other or kill each other, or I don't know, but I do picture a massive war. I feel like with the way Ishida writes these stories, just looking at Tokyo Ghoul and now looking at Tokyo Ghoul Tokyo Ghoul Part 3 is most likely going to have the exact same thing, a massive war between everyone. And Kaneki's going to be the leader on one side, and Furuta's going to be the leader on the other. You best believe Furuta is going to die. Is it going to be by Kaneki's hands? I'm not sure. I think it would be nice. Maybe he kills Rize then Furuta, or Furuta then Rize. I don't know, but I do see a massive clash. Depending on what Furuta's plans are, depending on what he wants to do with Rize, they're gonna clash, and this works really well with Kaneki being a full ghoul and a Washu one at that. Furuta would never see this power coming, if he obviously does not know about it per se. But with that being said, I want to thank you all for watching, but I'm actually going to end the video off here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.